Hi there, thanks for tuning in. My name is Oscar, Looppots, and lately we've added a great number of airbrushing materials to our website. For airbrushing your own hard baits, jerk baits and crankbaits. In today's video I would like to show you what the essentials are to start airbrushing your own lures. So sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee or a beer and you might learn something. The first essential is of course an airbrush. Two airbrushes. This is a great starter airbrush, the Neo from Iwata. It's got an 0.3 nozzle and well, it's a convenient thing to start with. It's a quality airbrush by the Japanese company Iwata. It's made in China, but it's a very good airbrush. It's a dual action airbrush. This one you press and you pull down, just like I showed, and that way the air is coming out. Or the air is coming out, the paint is coming out. And we have a high-end Iwata Eclipse HPCS. This is really a great tool. It's got an 0.3 nozzle as well, which is situated here and here, but we come to that later on. And when I take it apart, first we unscrew the back part, and then this knob. Now we can take out the needle, and be careful because the needle is sharp and it's brittle. When you let it fall down on the ground, there's a big chance that it's not suitable to work with because the point gets damaged, and a damaged point is not good to airbrush with. So then you need to get another one, and of course we have those in our shop. I take off the nozzle cap and the head cap, and now the nozzle falls out. When your airbrush is new, however, this nozzle might be stuck inside here. With a little pressure it should come out, but be careful because this tiny bit here is the nozzle and it's very vulnerable as well. So two very vulnerable items, the nozzle and the tip of the needle. That's in all airbrushes the same. Of course we have spare nozzles for this one as well. The part you need to clean every time is the part that's on the left. So from the trigger on the left. In some cases there might be paint here when you have a bad paint job or whatsoever, but in 99% of the cases when your needle is not very dirty, then it's okay to just clean this side, the left side. The cup with the Eclipse, you can't take that off. This is also good to clean. There are tiny brushes for that. We have those in our shop as well. For cleaning it, you need a cleaner like this, the airbrush cleaner from Medea. It's a good cleaner and I recommend it to use it a bit when you're switching between colors and the paint is coming from here. The gravity pulls it in So that's why it's a gravity feed differently. Let's put the nozzle back in place. Then the like that. The nozzle is in place now. With hand tight, always hand tight. The needle cap, hand tight. When you feel any pressure, don't push. Oh, one more thing. When you clean your needle, make sure to clean it like that. So there's a bit grease on it. Make sure to clean it like that. That way, not that way. You might get hurt. And use a little cleaner for that. When you feel, now it stops, it's here. You can release the trigger. Put the nut on there. Make sure to tighten that one, because when you don't tighten it, you can't get any paint out. So this one on. Make sure the O-ring doesn't get damaged. Can get damaged by alcohol or stuff like that. So be careful with that. Just hand tight and your airbrush is ready again. One more thing I would like to show you, and that's with the Iwata Neo. So this is the other airbrush we're selling. You see that this one does not have a this one has a different kind of nozzle. This one, but don't do that every time when you clean your airbrush. This one you should only remove the nozzle when you have problems with your airbrush, else you leave it there. Because I will show you, with a nozzle wrench you get supplied with your airbrush. Look, it's such a tiny bit that it's when you lose it, then it's well, it's easy to damage it or to lose it. I do not recommend this. I don't like this tool because it's got a you get friction and it's easy to damage your nozzle. What I do like is the Iwata nozzle tool, which has an insert like that, and you can work in one space. When it's tight, it's tight. Don't overdo it. Just, we say in Holland, vast is vast. Cleaning is only done with some airbrush cleaner I showed you a while ago, and if you use that, you can use it in between switching paints, or you can and after you're done you can you can put some airbrush cleaner in the cup and spray it out in a spray out bottle. Well, we think this is an essential item to spray out any airbrush cleaner or stuff like that. You don't want those in the air. So that's an essential part. Just put your airbrush in and you spray it out. And afterwards you can clean it with a brush or with a piece of toilet paper. And when you see any paint left, then you can see that here, I didn't do a good job here. There's still some paint left, but we can clean it. That's about the cleaning of the nozzle. So don't take it out unless it's really necessary. Screw this back on. This one. When you feel pressure again. This. And last bit. So hand tight, always hand tight, and it's very important to keep your airbrush clean. It's one of the most important things when you go airbrushing. Keep your airbrush clean. The third essential is a compressor. Another important thing in making your own lures and using airbrushes is a compressor. I would like to show you what you can do to make it work properly. This compressor consists of a air tank and the compressor itself. Main advantage is that you have 1.5 liters of air to go brushing, and your airbrush or your compressor will be more silent then, because it don't have to refresh the air all the time. Here is an attachment point for the hose. We recommend that you use a little Teflon tape to ensure that it's not leaking any air. Make sure it's tight, not over tighten it. The other end, you can take your airbrush and just screw it on. You use a bit of Teflon tape here as well, but most of the times it's not needed. Then your airbrush is attached. It takes some time now to fill up the tank. And I spray. When I press the button here, air comes out. And when I press the button and pull it back, then the paint will start to come out. Now there's nothing coming out because there's only air. This is how it works. So, and the proper technique is always air, press for air, down for paint, back, close the paint, and then release the trigger. Proper technique, very important. Else you get splashes and all kinds of bad things are going to happen that you don't want. Well, that's the proper technique. Always store your airbrush in an upright position like this. Never lay it down. Now the airbrush is ready, or the compressor is ready. And you see it's got, I will take a close-up of that. The The PSI at the moment is about 35, 36. Let's say I would like to adjust it. The proper, or the best range, in our opinion, is from 1 bar, that is about 18 or 16 psi, until, well, let's say 2.5, which it is 2.5 bar, that is, well, it's a 36 psi. I would like to adjust the air that is coming out. There's a big knob here. You pull it upwards. You press down for air. And then you see that the clock, or the pointer, I don't know the word in English, is going down now. When I press it down, you see it's coming up again. It's coming up a bit. But when I press for air again, you see, this is the proper air that I'm spraying in. So not this, but this. Okay. When I want to turn it upwards again, same procedure. Up. So that's how it works. The knob is to adjust the air pressure. Other thing I can say about our compressors is that they are oil free, so there's not much maintenance. And when I shut down the compressor now and I let all the air out, let all the air disappear now, I can take this bit off. Which is the sort of water container. When compressing air, there's always moisture coming out. Well, make sure it's not completely full. If it's a bit water in, you can use this little knob, release the moisture. Make sure the O-ring that's inside is tightened well. Just turn it, not over tighten it, but make sure there's no air escaping here.
Next essential is a spray out bottle to clean your airbrush.
You can fill it with water, or you can fill it with demi, well, you know what I mean, demi water, and which has no particles or whatever in it. And I use normal tap water very often. Not to clean it, but to get rid of the paint that's in there. Therefore, I use, where do I have it? Yeah. This kind of a container, which is very convenient because you can put some paper in it that sucks up the water and the paint and stuff, and you can, when you have some paint left, put some water in, make sure the paint is gone, and then do a back flush, which I'll explain later. Some airbrush cleaner, another back flush, and some water, and you're good to go again. Let's explain the term back flush. Well, if you clean your airbrush between two colors, you see here there's still some green paint left. I don't know if there's some green green paint in it. It doesn't run out very smoothly when I do this. And you don't want to spray it out because you don't want to get the paint through your nozzle when it's not needed. So what I do is take the spray out bottle with some normal tap water and just thin the paint and put it in the cup. I do this another time until most of the paint is gone. But there is still some paint here, left here. And now the backflush comes in handy. When you put your finger here and you press the trigger and pull it back, then bubbles are going to appear. And what it does is the air is not going that way, but it's coming backwards. And with the help of the water, it cleans this part of the airbrush. So, and now you can get yourself some cleaner and do another backflush with the cleaner. Add a little water, then you see that I don't know if it's visible, but you can see that there's still some green in there. Another backflush, You can see the paint is not out yet. We continue until all the green is gone. And by a couple of, now you see the water is getting clear again, and it takes only, when you're used to it, it takes only 30 seconds, and now the airbrush is ready for another. So this is very handy. It's an old ice cream thing. Essential. Paints, well, those are essential as well, yeah. Wicked paints we have in our program. The wicked paints from Createx are just awesome. They have very nice colors. It's an acrylic based paint, so water based. And we have some other colors from Createx as well. The transparent, the opaque. It's a covering paint, let's say that. Opaque, it's covering. And of course we have these Schmincke paints. Not very well known yet, but it's an ink, and it's incredible ink. It's thin paint. So these Createx you have to mix. You have to mix with reducer and the 4011 I would recommend. And these guys you don't have to mix. So they spray right off the bottle. Give it a good shake. It's got a very handy pipette, as you see, and very nice colors. The Createx, you have to thin them. Well, Createx itself says 10%. Well, that's a guideline, and you can use that, but I think sometimes you need 20 to 30% as well. Another great item, an essential item, is this lure holder. It's got two clamps. You see, you can easily click your bait in and you can turn it to every direction. You can even hold it in your hand and go spraying. Spraying the underside, that stuff. It's convenient. And another one is make sure to to get it from your missus, but it's a hair dryer, and we use it to dry the paints in between the paint, in between different paints. So when you put on a layer, you should dry it with a hair dryer, and then you can put on another color. And of course, stencils. Are these essential? Well, it's kind of fun to have a couple, to make some stencils when you are not really good at freehanding yet. So you can use stencils, and then you can make some round dots, some gills, some fins. Well, they come in handy. And now some words about safety. Very important when you start crafting your own lures is to protect your health. When you're pouring lead, or when you're painting with all kinds of chemicals, make sure your lungs, your hands are protected. We have a mask, a couple of masks in our program, in our shop. This one is a 6200, about 3M, and it's got changeable filters. You can easily take this one off. We keep that in a closed plastic container, and that's the best way to store it. And another thing you can consider is using a spray boot. A spray boot, well, that if you don't use a spray boot, all the vapors and all the spray will come on your desk. And well, is that a problem? No, could not be a problem for you. Another thing is that the fumes, this spray boot has a inbuilt ventilation, which well, it can suck air with 9 cubic meters per minute, and well, it's quite a lot, and it's very convenient. It's got a hose attached, and if you place it near a window, well, you're good to go, and all the bad fumes and stuff will go outside, and well, we think that's the optimum of protection. Also, make sure every time when you use it, use it in a well ventilated area. When you're spraying and you can't ventilate the area, make sure it can, because well, we think that's important. What you do with it, it's up to you, of course, but we recommend it. And here are some lures we painted recently. I will show you how you can paint these in a couple of months with some tutorials and stuff, and we will add a package with all essentials to go airbrushing. That's it for this long video about well, airbrushes, about compressors, about tips and tricks. I hope you learned something. Please consider like and subscribing to our channel. We would appreciate that. And for now, take care and good building for you. Bye.